Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Chainlink. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. If you haven't seen the previous update, make sure to watch that before watching this one. It's going to be linked in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Now let's jump into the TA. Taking a look at the daily chart, you can see that we are in a very nice uptrend since the bottom here in since the bottom in June 2023. That is where the bear market bottom was printed for Chainlink, and ever since then we have been moving to the upside, and one could even argue we did have a nice wave structure playing out over here. Right, and this could be the top for this potential wave one in the grand scheme of things, right? So this entire thing here could be a wave one. We could have a nice wave two, and then the wave three could take us, let's say to a new even all-time high, and then a wave four, and then a wave five taking us somewhere else. But the point is that this whole thing here is like a wave one, right? So this whole thing over here is a wave one, and then you have a wave two correction, and this wave two, this massive wave two, could be an ABC, right? This could be an ABC, and from there we have the wave three, and this wave three is going to consist of smaller wave count and so on and so forth. So this is obviously, you can go, it's like an Inception movie where you can go into a wave structure, and then each wave has its own wave structure, and that wave has its own wave structure, and so on and so forth. So potentially this has played out, right? On the daily chart, we have a very clear wave one. We have a clear wave two. Wave three is the biggest wave. We have a wave four correction, which did not go below the wave one high, so it's a valid wave four. And then we have a wave five. So wave five brought us all the way up to $21. We might go slightly higher up after this, but in general, I would be waiting for an ABC, some sort of an ABC correction here. And it doesn't have to take us down to the bottom of this yellow block. We could potentially just get down to $16, and that would be it. Right, we could go a bit deeper. A wave could go even a bit deeper. That all depends on how long this takes to play out. And again, this would be the wave two of the larger Elliott wave count. That's what I'm looking at here. It looks like a very nice setup for that, and I'll give another indicator for why this is probably going to play out in my opinion. Now, if you're looking to get into Chainlink, I would say these prices over here are very, very high. So you shouldn't be buying, and you shouldn't be chasing green candles. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor, but if you have been following the channel for quite a while, we were covering Chainlink for more than 500 days throughout this bear market, and I kept telling you we're going to have a very strong breakout. It's very likely that we're going to have a very strong breakout. Bitcoin Cash had the breakout, and then Chainlink had the breakout. And now Uniswap had its breakout. And this is what happens after 500 days of accumulation. So everyone got in, and then we had the pump. And this is where people want to start getting into Chainlink, when we are, breaking resistance levels. So if you're looking for an optimal entry point for Chainlink, I would target this yellow block, this yellow support block between 16.5 down to $13. This would be a really, really good entry point. It would take us down anywhere between 25 to 40%. So that would be a healthy retracement for Chainlink. This would be a healthy ABC, a healthy wave two, and then we would be looking for that massive, massive wave three, potentially, taking us to new all-time high prices. At least that's what I'm expecting based on what I'm seeing here. On the daily chart, let's see what the RSI is giving us. So are we printing a bearish divergence here? So we had the move to the upside, a bit of a bearish divergence you can see with the previous peak, because we are printing a higher high on the price action, but a lower high on the RSI. So there is a bit of a bearish divergence here. If I can just, there you go. So you can see there is a lower high there, and a higher high over there. So that is a bearish divergence on the daily chart, further, aiding in my theory that we're going to be going through an ABC here. So that's it for the daily chart, really. We're still very bullish. We're holding the 20 EMA, but I would just be waiting for a pullback. Now, we can switch over to the weekly to take a look at higher targets to the upside. And before we continue with the video, I quickly want to mention my Patreon that's linked down below in the description. If you enjoy my content, you want to get more exclusive content, and you want to support me at the same time, definitely feel free to check out the Patreon, because you're going to get a 7-day free access on my Patreon and an instant access to all of my content since October 2021, which is when I started. You'll get access to content like exclusive weekly podcasts, and we're starting to invite guests already. We have 40 plus low cap gem posts. We have a bunch of project reviews. We have a bunch of resources that are going to help you save time and make more money with this upcoming bull market. So this is definitely a great exchange of value for the both of us. And once again, there's a 7-day free trial. Feel free to check it out. You can leave anytime, and let's continue with the video. Taking a look at the weekly chart, you can see we have a Fibonacci retracement set up from the bottom in June 2023 all the way to the all-time high in May 2021. And we are running into the golden ratio here at $21.46, a massive resistance level. The most important level on the Fibonacci retracement. So it's very possible we're going to see a retracement back to the 0.5. In this instance, that's where the 20 EMA is. That is where the 0.5 is, and that's very close to the block. I think that's within the realms of the block that I gave you on the daily chart just a few moments ago. So this would be a perfect entry point. The 20 EMA is going to be an optimal entry point, and that's going to be right above this. Once again, just to show on the weekly, right above that trading range. As you can see, right above that trading range. So if you're looking to get into Chainlink at a more or less reasonable price, $16 and below is good. Obviously, it's not as good as $5, $6, obviously. You should have been buying here. We were buying here on Patreon. We were accumulating Chainlink at these prices, and we were very happy with our entry point. One other thing you can look at is this over here, this support trend line. Now, in case we have some sort of a crash down the line, maybe, whatever happens, right? We could have a massive crash in April, in May, who knows, if we have a black swan event or something like that. This teal trend line could act as a strong level of support. Just keep that in mind. We had that happen a few times already. We retested this teal trend line in June and September last year, and potentially we could have another retest sometime down the line when we potentially have a black swan event or a capitulation. But I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying it's good to have, an extra support trend line just in case that happens, and in case you wake up one day and you see, oh, we're sitting right at this teal trend line, you'll know that that's a really good entry point based on the previous two touches that we have over here and over here. So that's another trend line for you to keep an eye on. And once we have this pullback here, right, because we are running into the golden ratio, right, we have a bearish divergence on the daily chart. Once we have the retracement, once we cool off for a bit, then we can start targeting the next level, which is going to be the 0.786 at $31. And once we break above the golden ratio, right, and even have a back test of support, hopefully, that is going to give us a confirmation that we are more likely than not going to come back to the all-time high at the very least. Because once you break above the golden ratio, 99% of the time you come back up to the first fib level, which in this case is $52. So that's what we need to see from Chainlink in the midterm. And after we get to the all-time high, obviously, I am expecting all new all-time high prices, right? Minimal target at $98, $136, and then, of course, $219. But we want to be a bit more conservative. We don't want to say, we're definitely getting to $200. So I would say you can start taking profits at some of these levels below $98, and then you can take some profit at $98, some profit at $100+. That depends on your strategy, depends on your risk management and what is your financial plan and situation. But that is, of course, in the distant future. We're not expecting a massive one candle move to $98, of course not. But to relay what I said on the previous chart regarding the bearish divergence, if we pull up the RSI and you compare the RSI, which is printing a lower high, to the price action, which is printing a higher high, that is a bearish divergence, my friends. That is a bearish divergence, and I think that is going to play out relatively soon. The markets are looking scary. Yes, they're bullish, but that is scary because when there's greed, when people are buying, all-time high prices, Bitcoin is very close to the all-time high. It's very possible that, we're going to see a dip, and with the dip, altcoins will get wrecked. Now, some of the higher cap altcoins like Chainlink is probably not going to see a 50% retracement. Now, some of the mid cap altcoins and the low cap altcoins, those can see 30 to 50% retracements, if not 60 to 70%, That's just something that could happen, so be aware of that. And of course, I'm very bullish on Chainlink, not saying that it's going to dump or anything like that. I'm just saying be aware of a potential crash if you're buying at these local tops here. The RSI is very close to the overbought, so I would like to see a move back down to this area, to this blue block between 60 down to 53. That's a relatively good entry point. We did back test that over here in December and January and went up from there. We were targeting this even before we landed there because we set this up based on the touches that we had over here. If I can bring out the brush over here and over here, right? So we saw multiple touches of that area. Then we broke above it, back test of support, and moved to the upside. So to invalidate the current bearish divergence, what we need to see is a move above this top on the RSI, and that would mean the price action is moving even higher from here. That would, of course, invalidate the weekly bearish divergence. Do I think that's going to happen? I would say no. I would say no because this is a very big move. We're already exhausted. We've exhausted essentially the entirety of this move, and I'm waiting for a pullback on Chainlink. And of course, anything can happen. I'm just saying from a technical perspective, we need to see a healthy retracement before we can continue. Now, the ABC that I spoke about could potentially be something like this, right? This would be the ABC we're waiting for. And if we pull out the 1 to 5 wave, the Elliott wave, this could be what we're looking for here. That would be your wave 5 structure. It would take us to around $100. That's what I would be expecting, but let's see how things play out. I want to thank you all for watching this video. I don't want to drag this on for too long. Let me know what is your average buy-in price. Stay safe and take care.